Sean, WSRT Fitness. If this is your first time here, please remember to subscribe, click the bell, and select all for notifications. Thank you so much for watching and welcome. Today, we're actually doing another viewer request video from Russell in the WSRT Fitness Facebook group. Hi, Russell. How you doing? And his request was talking about the change in nutrition versus a diet and how it makes up 90% of your progress, of your gains, whether you're trying to lose weight or gain muscle. And so I'd love to talk about that. I think it's a great topic because this was something that I had to beat through my head really hard, especially with how thick it is. So let's start off with taking a look at diets. All diets seem to have that short-term effect. When you talk about, oh, I got on keto, oh, I'm doing Atkins, intermittent fasting, which is more like an eating protocol instead of a diet, but like, oh, the South Beach diet, the salsa diet, the whatever. There's too many of them. And the thing is that they all have this idea of, for a short amount of time, you're going to deprive yourself of something, whether it's carbs, whether it's fats, whether it's sugars, whether it's something else, who knows? You deprive yourself of something for as long as possible, and of course you're going to lose weight. You're eating less because you have taken something away. Then after so much time, you've lost some weight, you feel great, you've learned nothing. You get those foods back in, you go right back to eating the way you were before, and all the weight comes back on. Sometimes even more. And that's crazy. It's demoralizing. I believe it was Albert Einstein who said the definition of insanity was doing something over and over again and expecting a different result. When you take a look at changing your nutrition in a permanent manner, which is something that I preach to my clients all the time, is making choices that are best for you. I find it astonishing when I talk to them and they say, well, what should I eat? And I say, well, what do you like to eat? And now, obviously, if they're saying, well, I like to eat cake, I'm not telling them to eat cake. However, I ask, well, what proteins do you like to eat? What vegetables do you like to eat? What veggies can you eat 3, 4, 5 times a week? What healthy what healthy complex carbs do you like? Okay, what's the healthiest way we can prepare it? And these are all questions that you need to ask yourself. And I'd like to use a great example that I think I used in a couple of Facebook Live videos. Was when I was at my biggest, every day at lunch. Now, before I quit drinking soda, my lunch at work every day was a buffalo chicken wrap with extra everything, which I'll get to that in a second, a fairly large size bag of chips. It was 600 calories in the bag of chips I would have, and a 20-ounce soda. My lunch was a little over 2,000 calories, which is crazy because now that's what I take in a day, and I get a ton of food in. And so, first of all, I quit drinking soda. I actually have an exact date. April 3rd, 2017 was when I stopped drinking soda. And I look at it almost like an alcohol addiction. Like I have a similar mindset. I realize it's not the same, but I look at it the same way because it keeps me honest. I literally will tell people that I am so many months sober from soda. And so for example, right now I'm 28 months sober from soda. Now, I cut that out first, and I actually only lost 3 pounds in those first 8 months after quitting soda because even though I cut the soda out, I was drinking juices, Powerades that still had calories in it, so I wasn't cutting a ton of calories. But I also just started eating more. I was eating junk. I was eating shit every day, and so my body just wasn't responding the way that I wanted to. So the next thing that I did when I did start getting serious about losing weight, so I was at my biggest, 282 pounds. The first thing that I looked at was that bag of potato chips I had at lunch every day. I said, I don't need this anymore. Throw that out the window. And so I cut 600 calories off just by not getting that bag of chips. Now, at first, I replaced it with, I had like 2 oranges or 2 clementines, or a banana. I had about 100 calories worth of fruit with my lunch every day at first, and then eventually I cut that out too. So I was getting down to just a sandwich. I was still having juices, Powerades. The next thing that I did was I switched to drinking only water. And so now that 2100 calorie lunch, just from cutting out the 240 calories of soda, from cutting out the 600 calories of chips, has now gone down to about 1,300 calories, a little bit less. It's about 1,250 calories for the sandwich. So I started looking at the sandwich now, the wrap itself, which was a 250 calorie wrap itself, because it was a large wrap. You're talking about fried chicken, I would get ranch dressing on it, a ton, about 3 servings worth of ranch dressing, and then I had a lot of vegetables. I've always liked a lot of vegetables. So the first thing I did was I cut down the ranch to the smallest amount that I could stomach, because I just had to have the ranch on it. But I cut it down from about 3 to 4 servings down to about a half a serving of ranch dressing was actually what I got it down to before I stopped getting this particular lunch altogether, which I'll get to in a second. So the first thing I did was I actually cut down on, I actually went with the lighter the lighter calorie vegetables, sticking with like onions and peppers, things like that. Had taken out the tomatoes. I stopped getting cheese on it. That cut out a couple hundred calories. And then eventually I started getting the pulled shredded chicken that they had available, and just putting buffalo sauce and a tiny bit of ranch on it, as opposed to getting the fried chicken, and that cut my calories way down. And then I started getting the smaller wrap, which also meant less veggies and less chicken, though I still was at about that half a serving of ranch dressing. So by the end of it, I would have, I did eventually add fruit back in to the lunch. But by the time I was done, my wrap went from being 1,250 calories to being 450 calories. And then I added back in about 100 calories, anywhere between 70 to 100 calories of fruit with the lunch. And so my lunch had gotten down from 2,100 to 550 calories. And I did it one step at a time, which is really something that's important, because you're not going to go from eating 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 calories a day of unhealthy food down to 1,500 or 2,000 or whatever is a good number of calories for you to be at. You got to do it one step at a time. In which I tell everybody, listen, the blatantly just disgustingly unhealthy stuff, cake, pie, pies. Listen, I love pie, but if it's not Thanksgiving or a holiday, stay away from the pie. But, you cut out the cake, cut out the extra pie, cut out soda, cut out sugary juices and drinks. Don't drink your calories. Get rid of the extra crap right away. And then you start looking at your meals, and then you start picking it apart. Well, can I do roasted chicken instead of fried? Okay. Can I maybe do a dry rub instead of soaking it in barbecue sauce? Can I, can I steam this vegetable instead of cooking it up with olive oil? Is there a better oil? Can I use less oil? You gotta look at what steps can you take, and you do it one step at a time, and you do it in ways that you like the food. You don't necessarily change all the food that you're eating. You stick with the foods that you like, because if you don't like the food, you're not going to stick to any plan. You can do the bone broth and bean sprout diet all you want, but if you don't like bone broth and bean sprouts, or you want more variety, you're not going to stick to a stupid diet like that, which I just made up off the top of my head. I don't know if that's an actual diet anywhere. If it is a diet somewhere, comment below. I'd love to check that out. I could probably do a separate video on it. But anyway, to wrap this all up, you gotta make good choices, sustainable choices that you're going to enjoy, that you're going to be happy with, because that's the only way that you're going to stick with it, is if you're happy. The whole idea of getting healthier is to increase your happiness and to get out there and enjoy your life. So that's the best way to look at it. And as far as the fact that it's 90%, I actually think that's more than, I think it's like 98, 99% of what you do. I mean, if you want to look at it as a pure statistical standpoint, if you spend an hour a day in the gym, that's about 4% of your day. So 4% of your day is training. The other 96% of your day is your nutrition and how you handle your intake. So let's look at it that way. 96% of your health is what you're sticking in your mouth. So yeah, go out there, kill your workouts. Work out as hard as you can. But you know what? No workout is going to outrun, outwork, outlift shitty foods, shitty quality foods, and shitty amounts of food. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe, click the bell, select all for notifications, comment below anything you'd like to see me do a video about or any questions that you might have. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.